Hello my friends. So, as I promised, I'm going to share a couple of clips from my trip to Arizona. A gentleman who shall be named as JazzBuff23 flew me all over to Arizona for his private gig. So it was a great trip, a great crowd, great hospitality, and great temperatures, 30 degrees Celsius throughout. So thank you very much, JazzBuff23, but I thought this would be too easy for my experience. I'd be remiss if I didn't try some of this stuff in liberal downtown Tucson. Arizona being very much a red state, but Tucson very much liberal, home to the University of Arizona, and I've been told the first city where bilingual education was launched in the US. So I tried this set in a couple of places, and one of those I'm going to be putting it at the end of this video. I thought maybe the sound quality is not great, so I first do the set here and then you watch it as it went in the club. The two sets are pretty much identical except for maybe a couple of jokes for time constraint, and if you see a couple of jokes that you have already heard in my sets, don't worry, most of it is new material. This was a place called Under Rocks, a beautiful big sports bar with air conditioning that sends shivers down the spine of European environmentalists on so many levels. Under Rocks is the bar on East Speedway Boulevard, and every Monday you have Comedy on the Rocks there. Thank you to Joel who had me as one of the performers on his comedy night. So let's get to it. Thanks for listening. I come from London, England. Have you heard about it? Yeah, I'm not originally from England, but I do feel at home in Britain because some of my teeth are British. That's the first joke out of the way. It's very curious to try comedy on both sides of the Atlantic to see what works and what doesn't on either side. Of course, Britain and the US have a lot in common, but also differences. Do you have my accent? Do you like my accent, by the way? I chose to learn English with an American accent because I wanted to sound cool, and the plan initially worked. You know, in my home country, Italy, the Italians were like, yeah, Americans saved us in the World War and protected us in the Cold War. E to sei cool, sei veramente cool, sei proprio cool. Then I moved to Germany, and the Germans were like, yeah, Americans saved us in the World War and protected us in the Cold War. Und du bist cool, voll cool, total cool, eigentlich bist du sehr cool. And then I moved to Britain, and I learned that British people are quite ungrateful. Yeah, that's a joke that works on both sides of the Atlantic usually. But of course, Britain and US, they have differences, they have similarities. They say US and UK are two countries united by the infatuation for the same useless royal family. Have you heard that? But there are also differences. We pronounce things differently. For example, you guys say aluminum, we say aluminium. You guys say laboratory, we say laboratory. You guys say diversity, we say replacement of white Europeans in their own ancestral homelands. True story. Let's do some observation. For a foreigner who comes to the US, what is the most shocking experience is the TV commercials. Every second TV commercial is about a pharmaceutical. I had no idea Americans had all these diseases. And you watch these commercials and they're like, you are stronger than your eczema. Treat your eczema with this medicine. Side effects include erectile dysfunction, rectal bleeding, cancer, loss of eyesight, depression, psychotic rages, suicidal thoughts. I'm thinking how bad these side effects need to get before your government pulls this product out of the market. I mean, I mentioned ivermectin and YouTube demonetizes my channel. You are selling these products on TV that make people's penises fall off? But I also observed it's the election season in Arizona and elsewhere in the US. And in Europe, we think your election campaigns are quite hostile and toxic. But the other day, I saw something that was quite heartwarming. It gave me hope. There was one of these small election banners as I was walking on East Broadway Boulevard. And it said something quite civil, actually. It said, "Love high gas prices? Thank a Democrat." And I thought that's nice, saying thank you, appreciate the opposition. It gave me a bit of hope. But I must say, in the world, we are quite happy and feel reassured when adults are in charge at the White House. Nobody wants an idiot in the White House, and not long ago we did have an idiot in the White House. I don't want to even dignify him by mentioning his name. But this idiot basically messed up Afghanistan, he messed up Iraq, messed up Syria. He basically gifted Libya to ISIS. And thank God, eventually Donald Trump took over from him, right? Yeah, I expected a bigger laugh on that than I did. But then I thought, hey, this is Arizona. Maybe the laughs will come later, together with their postal votes for Joe Biden, right? So that was nice. By the way, to get to the US, I needed to go for a visa interview. You need to sit for a visa interview at the US Embassy because you need to win their trust. And they said, "Sir, is this your first visit to the United States?" And I said, "Yes." "And where are you visiting?" I said, "Tucson, Arizona." And they said, "Sir, we don't think we can trust anything you're saying from now on." But that was good. This is how a visa interview works. You need to show that you have enough motivation to return to your country and not to overstay your visa. So you need to provide documentation that proves that where you are, you have a good job and a good salary and good savings, and you own a nice house, and you have a fit wife, and a network of family and friends who love you. You've got a lot going on for you in your life. So halfway through the process, I'm thinking, if I have all these, why am I moving to the US? Why am I going to the US anyway? I stand to gain nothing from my travel to the US. But this is true. If you were born in Europe, moving to the US is pretty much pointless because the American dream is so unobtainable, so unachievable for people born in Europe. The bar is quite high. If you were born outside Europe, easy. Pretty much you get to the US, your American dream is almost realized, right? You'd be like, "Hey, the communists wanted to kill me, but I'm here alive." That's the dream. "The communists confiscated my small business. This is my small business. I'm living the American dream." But as a European, as somebody who was born in Europe, I'd have to basically move to the US, then chisel myself into a bodybuilding icon, become a Hollywood movie star, then become the governor of California, right? And then seduce my nanny and have sex with her. I mean, the bar is so high. It's so difficult when you are born in Europe. And by the way, you have to give all those assurances to the US Embassy if you come from different borders, but not from the southern borders. If you come from the southern border, you just walk through. You just walk through and wait for your amnesty, That's it. And I find it quite bizarre that the way you treat illegal activities, only in this case, because you treat illegal activity quite differently in all other cases. It's not like you wake up in the morning or in the middle of the night rather, walk downstairs, find a stranger in your living room and you think, "Hey, you've broken into my house illegally, but you've been here for a while and well, the US was built on the entrepreneurial spirit, so why don't you follow me upstairs so I can show you your path to citizenship, right? And I'll also show you my wife's bedroom." Yeah, because I can't satisfy her anymore. No, not because of that eczema drug that I purchased after watching it on television. No. I'm a registered Democrat, so I have a naturally low level of testosterone. Yeah. But people say it's quite difficult to do comedy, especially overseas. I thought if this doesn't go well, there's always a chance for me to be bussed to Martha's Vineyard by Governor DeSantis, huh? How funny was that prank? That was the funniest conservative prank since Amy Coney Barrett. Remember? Hey, you liberals like strong, independent women? There she is, appointed to the highest office in the judiciary. Huh? How about that? But yeah, people say it's difficult to be a comic, to stand in front of a bunch of strangers in a foreign country trying to make them laugh. It's hard. I tell you what is the hardest job though. To be a Mexican nationalist. Have you ever thought about it? Think about it. A Mexican nationalist would be like, hey, all these territories the US took away from us and annexed them, made them richer and more prosperous, and the people happier. This stops right now. We need to win back these territories. It's time for some rectificación, right? And the first people to protest would be the Mexican people. They'd be like, hombre, you're killing us. We want to cross into the US. We want to cross the border into the US. Why are you trying to push the border further up north? Have we not walked enough? And I tell you, they kind of liked the ones who didn't like that joke were all the illegals who were not laughing. So I think that's about it. You've been a great crowd. Thank you for listening. I have been the funniest conservative act in the US since Governor Ron DeSantis. I'll talk to you soon. Stay safe and take care.
It's his first time at Comedy on the Rocks here at On the Rocks by Good Enough Comedy. Put your hands together for Nicholas.
Thank you very much, guys. So yeah, I come from London, England. Have you heard about it? Yeah. Cool. This is what they look like now. The English. No, I'm not originally from England. I'm from Italy. But I truly feel at home in Britain because some of my teeth are British. First joke worked. It's curious to see what works and what doesn't on either side of the Atlantic. You'd be surprised. Do you like my accent? Yeah. Yeah, because in Britain I sound actually American. This is not a British accent, right? I can't speak like this if I wanted to, but I don't like it. I made a conscious decision to learn English with the American accent because I wanted to sound cool. And the plan initially worked in my country of birth. The Italians were like, yeah, Americans saved us in the World War and protected us in the Cold War. To say cool, say veramente cool, say proprio cool. And then I moved to Germany, and the Germans were like, yeah, Americans saved us in the World War and protected us in the Cold War. Und du bist cool, voll cool, total cool, eigentlich bist du sehr cool. And then I moved to Britain, and I learned that British people are quite ungrateful. Yeah, they love that joke too, although it's at their expense, but they know they are ungrateful. But you know, it's interesting to observe what works here and what jokes don't work here. That was not the funny part. They say UK and US are two countries united by the infatuation for the same useless royal family. Have you heard that? But there are also differences, like we pronounce things differently. You guys say aluminum, we say aluminium. You guys say laboratory, we say laboratory. You guys say diversity, we say replacement of white Europeans in their ancestral homelands. True story. Hey, this thing I noticed here, it's shocking when you come to the US as a foreigner. Every second TV commercial is about a pharmaceutical product. I mean, all these diseases you have, I didn't even know existed. And it's something like, you are stronger. You are stronger than your eczema. You can beat your eczema with this pharmaceutical. Side effects, include erectile dysfunction, rectal bleeding, depression, suicidal thoughts, psychotic rages, cancer, loss of eyesight. How bad do these side effects have to get for your government to pull this out of the market? Right? I mean, if I mention ivermectin, YouTube demonetizes my channel. But you're selling these drugs that give you all these problems? In Britain, it's different. Every second TV commercial is about sports betting. It's a way of our government to take money away from people who already don't have a lot of it. Right. The other thing I observed is election season in Arizona and elsewhere. In Europe, we think your election campaigns tend to be very hostile, but I saw something quite heartwarming that gave me hope. I was walking on Broadway Boulevard, and I saw these small election banners, and one of them was actually quite civil, quite nice. It said, "Love high gas prices? Thank Democrats." I thought that was nice. Yeah, that was civil. Yeah, but in the world we are interested in U.S. elections because it affects all of us, and in the world we are all reassured when adults are in charge at the White House. You see what I mean? Nobody wants an idiot in the White House, and not long ago there was an idiot in the White House. I don't remember the idiot. I don't want to even dignify him by mentioning his name, but this guy messed up Afghanistan, he messed up Iraq, Syria. He basically gifted Libya to ISIS. I mean, thank God eventually Donald Trump took over from him. That was a good joke, come on. It was a classic joke with a twist at the end. And I expected a bigger laugh on that. But, okay, to be fair, this is Arizona. Maybe the laugh will come later with all your postal votes for Biden, huh? Right. I had to go through an interview to come here because you need to get the U.S. Embassy's trust. You need to win their trust. And they said, "Your first visit to the U.S., sir?" I said, "Yes." "Where are you going?" "Tucson, Arizona." They said, "I don't think we can trust anything you say, sir. You're going to Tucson, Arizona as your first visit." Well, I like it here. I said, even if this doesn't work out, there's always a chance of me being bused to Martha's Vineyard by Governor DeSantis, huh? How cool was that prank? That was so fun. Yeah, in conclusion, people say being a comic is difficult, coming here from overseas, standing in front of strangers trying to make them laugh in liberal downtown Tucson. I was warned about you guys, but I tell you what is more difficult, being a Mexican nationalist. Because being a Mexican nationalist, you'd be like, hey, all these territories the U.S. took away from us and make them richer and more prosperous and the people are happier. This stops right now. And the Mexicans will be the first people to protest. They say, dude, hombre, you are killing us. We want to cross into the U.S. You cannot move the border further up north. Have we not walked enough? Those who are not laughing are the illegals. Okay, that's my time, ladies and gentlemen. You have been great. I have been the funniest conservative act since Ron DeSantis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicholas DeSantis. No, DeSanto. Alrighty, you guys keep it going.